We are back. I know y'all missed us. We were gone for a whole week. What were y'all going to do last Friday? I don't know. But I think at the time the show was supposed to start, I was probably flying at that exact moment or somewhere around. No, because it was 8 o'clock. But the problem, Zoom has stopped working.
Still working for me.
That's weird. I got to hit close program. Or I'll try not to hit it. Okay, I think it's still working. That's weird. Um,
Hello,
hey
Arnie.
Arnie and Trash Bag and Cloud Trucker and Tony and Mick and Harry and whoever else I missed and
He's kind of quiet.
Joe might be. I'm kind of a little
Am I
far.
quiet?
Let me fix my. Let me see something.
Well,
Oh,
you're. I gotta go check the temperature on the pork loin.
okay. Is that
Can't
better?
hang
My
out with me.
for some reason my mic keeps turning itself down. I don't know why. Is it better now? Because I'm peeking in the yellow now, so that should be good. Okay. Yeah, for some reason my mic is like, oh, I'm just gonna turn myself down. I don't know why I did that. What's up, John? How you doing, bud? John is on the road to recovery so that he can fly again. I tell you, we went to this fly-in and not sure what to expect because I mean, to be honest, in September it's hurricane season, and as you know, it's been pretty much there's a hurricane that's been sweeping up through the country right now, flooding everywhere. And I hope everybody remains safe through that, no matter how much damage has happened to property. That can be replaced. People can't. Um, I think that a lot of people don't usually show up for Soar the Shore because of weather forecast, honestly. And the weather showed that it was going to be bad the entire weekend, but honestly, it was the complete opposite. Wednesday was the only day where it really rained, and it literally rained right on top of our house for some reason. So I couldn't pack the truck. So we had to wait till midday before I could pack the truck when the rain stopped. When we got over to Eastern Shore, it was fine. I think it kind of sprinkled a little bit Wednesday night, but Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all the way till Sunday morning, it was perfect flying every day, morning and afternoons. So I took advantage of that, and I got to fly. Will got to fly. Everybody there, I think, got to fly except for Shane. Shane did come, but Shane had some toe problems. I don't, I'm not gonna blame him, man. If you foot launch and your toe is killing you to where you can't run on it, then that pretty much stops you from
It
foot
wasn't
launching.
just his toe. Did you see his foot?
I did not see his foot, so
Like
I
the tops of his toes were like shredded. So I could only imagine
ouch,
trying to put
out.
socks on and shoes on. Yeah, no.
So I don't even know where to start. I know when
Scott, CDC.
we got there on Wednesday, and then about midday Wednesday, Shane showed up. Never Trust Skinny Chef Shane showed up, which was cool. We were
He
happy.
he showed up at almost 8 o'clock. Hi, Will.
Yeah. Shane came in about 8, and then I think Will Fly showed up maybe an hour or two after that, which we had no idea Will was coming.
No, we're
Um,
just sitting there talking, and we see somebody across the field over by the hangar, and bright lights and a glowing van, and they're just like sitting there, and we're like, "What? Who the hell is that?" They slowly cross the field. I don't wear my glasses, so they could tell who it was long before I could because I couldn't see the
well,
big
I
ass
knew
Will
what
Fly
kind of
sticker on
van
the
he
side.
had, but I wasn't sure it was him until he got
Everybody's got
close
fan.
enough. Yeah, everybody's
Yeah.
got that ProMaster van, but when he got closer and I could see and I saw the lights and I was like, that might be Will. And then I saw the big Will Fly sticker. I was like, that's freaking Will Fly.
Yeah,
So I was really excited that Will showed up. And
and
then
brought his wiener.
he did bring his. We're not going to get into the wiener yet. We'll get into that in a little bit. So Then
Hey, Linda.
at 3:30 in the morning, or 2:30, I'd say more about 2:30 in the morning, Dro showed up, which is Paramotor IRL, along with his lady, Ashley, and their dog, Luna, which is may or may not have some wolf in it.
And they're cat weasels.
So, and they had ferrets, you know, it's just, so anyways, all that happened just on Wednesday. So, and how many times did I get to fly? Scott, I would say it's either 5 or 6. I know at least 5 because Gaggle showed every one of those flights. So I know it's at least 5. I think it shows 6, but one of those wasn't a flight. You got to be careful with Gaggle because if you have Gaggle turned on and you drive 20 miles an hour in your car, it's going to record it as a flight. So you have to
Or
be
if
careful.
you happen to be piloting your airliner at 400 some odd miles per hour.
Yeah, Joe did that. So, anyways, the very next morning got to fly. It was awesome. Will don't usually do the morning flight thing. He does the afternoon. And
Yeah, I thought I wasn't a morning person. We didn't even see Will till like 10 o'clock.
I went to take off and I was using my trike, and as soon as my trike kind of went across the grass and hit a couple of bumps, I heard a pop, and I was like,
You and
"Oh, that's not
everybody else.
good." I ended up taking off anyway, and once I landed, I checked, and what had happened was my prop came and hit part of my cage, which also cut my LEDs straight in the same
Again.
spot it cut them before. So I took what I ended up doing. I tried to, you know, move some stuff around to think it would help. Now I changed the prop, put a brand new prop on there, drove around. I heard it whack again. I was like, okay, that's it. I took the prop off. I disassembled my entire cage and bent it with my knee to what looks like it's in the right position now, and it no longer
the
whacks.
bottom corner of his cage.
Yeah,
not
the bottom
entire
corner of the
cage.
cage was a little
Don't let
bent.
him lie to you.
Well, yeah, I bent. That's what I bent was the bottom corner.
Mhm.
But so once I got that straight, or it wasn't really straightened out, it was curved out. Once I got that curved out, it didn't whack anymore. So I was able to take off every time. And I think Will got to fly that same night because Will usually gets up around noon, 1 o'clock somewhere. He's probably already up, honestly, but he doesn't come out of his van until later on. So that's fine.
Hey, you know, Tony, I thought, you know, that I had the elbows. Will won. Will won the elbow contest.
That's way later. That's way later.
Mhm.
So we got to fly then. That would be Thursday. Then Friday I flew in the morning. So I flew what was it? Thursday morning, Thursday night, Friday morning, Friday night, Saturday morning. One of those two I missed. I don't know which one it was. Because I only got 5. I didn't get 6. That would have been 6 times I could have flown. Maybe I didn't get one of them on Gaggle. I don't know. Because it should have been 6 if you count every day. Because I flew in the morning and in the afternoon every one of those days, I thought. What's up, Jazzy? And I know Saturday morning, that's when Doomsday hit me. I went flying at 8:30 in the morning, Saturday. And everything went fine. Came, landed, great, no problems. Now, during this time, I was switching headsets and trying to plug in my cameras. My mic kept getting unplugged. I was having all kinds of issues, which I do have more video, but most all the other videos have jacked up audio, so we'll see. And I also got some on the Insta360, but I'll have to check that one too. I did get to fly over a cloud, which was probably the smallest cloud I've ever seen. It was literally about the size of a car, but I went over it, not through it, and that was it. But so Saturday, 8:30, I came in, I landed, and I went to get my keys to go start the truck just to make sure the battery wasn't going dead for some strange reason or anything. We did bring a generator, but the truck is just sitting there without running, and the tailgate had been open, so the light was on, the lights inside the truck. So I figured maybe the battery's going dead. Couldn't find my
You do
keys
not know
anywhere.
how to make a long story short, do you?
Look, this is a 2-hour show.
Okay.
I'm trying to do this like a woman would do it, which they
Mhm.
stretch a damn story out forever.
I'd have been done by now, but okay.
You would not. So, so I couldn't find my keys. Looked all over, couldn't find my keys in the truck, in our tent, on any of the tables, anywhere. Wasn't in my pockets. So Munchkin was like, "Don't you have an air tag on your keys?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I do have an air tag on my keys." So I brought it up on my phone, and it's a nice long grass airport that goes north, south, and east, west. It's basically 2 airports in a cross pattern. And it basically, the Find My for the AirTag said that my keys were last seen in a cotton field on the other side of the runway. So I basically walked there while everybody else. I was like, I asked Dwayne, could I use his dirt bike? And he's like, can't you just take the car? And I was like, dude, you want to let me use it? He let everybody else ride the dirt bike, but he wouldn't let me.
Okay, well, the funny thing is, though, is what you missed was that the battery died, so he had to be pushed back on the dirt bike by Chris on his
That's
one
funny.
wheel.
So we get all the way to the end of the runway, and there's no way to get into that cotton field because the weeds and stuff were literally like 8 feet high. You just couldn't go through it. So I said, okay, I'm going to take my phone, jump in the car, and run and drive around and go try to find my keys in this.
I had my car too. We took my car.
Cotton field. I got to make sure I say cotton because I keep screwing up. It is a cotton field. Drove over, parked nearby the cotton field off the side of the road, and proceeded to go into the cotton. Now, I wasn't in that cotton for 5-6 minutes, and the owner showed up in his truck. And I saw him slow down and look over at me, and I just kind of ducked down into the cotton nice and slow and just stayed there. And then he disappeared and went in his house, never came back out. The problem
He
with
kept disappearing. He thought he was going crazy.
the problem with the Find My thing, if you're in there and it shows you going near your keys or your AirTag, and then you hit directions, it's going to show you the last parkable spot for your car, not where your AirTag is. So it kept telling me to turn around. Every time I would turn around, it would say, oh, you're turn around, turn around, turn around. I stayed in that cotton field for at least 45 minutes. I know I laid down in the cotton field at least 4 times because of just pure exhaustion and heat, because it was hot. And I just laid down. I was like, I can't walk any further. And I had on boots and long pants trying to get through that cotton. It was rough. So I finally just gave up. I was like, all right, fine. I'm going back. I'm going back to the field, back to the LZ, and we'll figure something else out. So we got all the way back to the field. So I messaged Dro on my phone. I was like, hey, Dro, the only way for my keys, since I could not make my keys show up on the, I couldn't make my keys show up on the Find My app, even when I was in the field. You know, when you get close, it'll ding and say, hey, you're 30 feet away or whatever. I never could get to do that. So I said the only way to get an exact measurement, because if I did drop my keys while I was flying, they could be hundreds of feet away from where my phone last saw it. So I figured we'll get a drone and hook it to my phone and fly the drone over the field nice and slow to try and get a ping off of the AirTag so I can find my keys. Now, Dro said, well, the drone's in pieces right now. I'm going to have to get it put back together. Maybe later we can try to. So I was like, okay, well, I'll figure something out. And then I asked Chris, hey, can you take my phone and fly over the cotton field really low on your paramotor. He said, sure, man, I can do that. And he went over there and he flew over that field like 10 minutes, really low, just basically foot dragging that field. And he had my phone, so I couldn't check. So he landed like right in front. And as soon as he handed me the phone, it was showing still that it hasn't been seen since 8:30. And right when he handed it to me, it changed and said last seen 1 minute ago. So I hit the button and I was like, really? Well, where is it? And literally my keys were like 100 yards away on the airstrip in the grass, like straight on the airstrip. So what happened was after I landed and I was just taxiing the trike, that's when my keys fell out. So at that point, Munchkin took my keys away from me and I had to check them in and out of her purse whenever I needed my keys.
Mm-hmm.
That, which I don't usually fly with my keys, and I don't suggest anybody fly with their car keys, because if you drop them, you're in bad shape. And now, luckily, I had an air tag on my keys. If I didn't have an air tag, I would have been screwed. So luckily, I had an air tag on there. And what did we learn? Well, Tony, I would say never fly with your car keys, ever. If you have to, hide them in your gas door. If you're alone, hide them up under the wheel of your car or something. Just try to not fly.
Or hook them to your person with a lanyard somehow.
Yeah, you could hook them. I mean, and I have a carabiner on my keys, but I didn't have them hooked in that time because I didn't even think I had my keys with me. So I put them in my pocket, and apparently they fell out. So there you go. But there's so much other stuff that happened. I don't even know where to start. So Dro and his woman, Ashley, came over. And, you know, Will brought his little dog. And Will's got a little Dachshund dog. So Ashley comes over and asks,
Can I touch it?
Can I touch it? And then Will was like, do you mean the dog? Which was funny by itself. So I don't know why she thought the next day it would be a good idea to come and ask Will, can she see it? I'm like,
it's hilarious. Ashley's down with the innuendo.
She knew, you know, if you screw up the first time and say, can I touch it? And then come back and say, can I see it? Well, yes, you can. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, Will got to fly a lot. I saw Will flying all over the place. Everywhere I looked, you could see Will's wing. I was usually higher than... Will was flying pretty low the entire time, which slow and low is where it's at. I totally get it, but I wanted to fly higher because I don't know how many flights I've had in a row where I have to fly low because I'm restricted. When I go there, I don't have that limit and I can go pretty much high as I want to. So I wanted to go higher. And I mean, I only went to 2,000 feet, but still for me, that was awesome because number one, it's way cooler up there. And number two, you can see everything and you have a lot more time to recover from any errors if anything happens. So, it was amazing. We all had a great time. I know Shane didn't get to fly. I wish he would have, but everybody else got to fly. There was only, besides my prop getting messed up, there was 2 major incidents that happened during the entire fly-in. The first one was this guy brought this gigantic trike to the field, and he had a brand new 42-meter tandem wing, and he pretty much got talked into, hey, why don't you go taxi that wing? Now, the problem with this is the frame looks like a trike buggy, but it's not a trike buggy. It's way bigger. And there's no netting on the cage whatsoever. So he goes over way on the other side of the field, 42-meter wing behind him. And as soon as he hit, it's got electric start. As soon as he hit the starter button, it pulled his lines in, the suction from the prop, which it only barely spun, but that was enough apparently to pull his lines in and cut 2 of his lines. He was not happy. So that was that incident. And then Sunday morning when we were all about to leave, Will hadn't got out yet, but I heard one guy going to take off. Now he took off. We're on the north-south runway, and he was parked around the east-west side, so I couldn't see him, but I could hear his motor start up. And then I heard it take off, and then I just heard the motor shut off, and then pow, and I was like, oh shit. So I jumped up with one shoe on. I had one Croc on my foot and ran over there, and he was out in the middle of the soybean field. But I got all the way to the edge of the field, and I just pretty much yelled up, "Are you okay? You're okay?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." So that stopped me from running through the field with one foot. So he was okay. Nothing but his pride got hurt. Well, I can't say that. He did bend his trike up and mess up his netting. I don't think his prop got hurt, which is surprising, but his cage on his paramotor frame got bent and the netting got torn, and it bent the frame of his trike, which was made with I better not say that. That may tell who he is, so I'm not.
It doesn't matter what it was made with.
Yeah. It was a homemade
metal.
trike, I'll put it that way. It was homemade. But yeah, Will stayed there the entire time Will did not leave until we left, which I just thought was awesome. I thought, if anything, Will probably leave early. Now, Shane had to leave early. I completely understand that. I mean, he drove from Florida, the lower side of Florida, all the way up to Virginia, which is a 12-hour drive for him.
Mm-hmm.
And not to mention paying the $16 to cross that toll bridge, which is still a cool bridge. I mean, it's a 17-mile bridge that goes underwater twice. It's a pretty cool bridge if you've never been over it. But anyways, Shane stayed until midday Saturday, I would say. Mm-hmm. And then he took off. So, because he had to go back and paint and all that stuff on his game room that he's doing down in Florida. But we had a great time. I mean, and the food that Miss Dee Dee cooked was really good, and she had some banana pudding that I was hoping lasted till the next day, but it was because she cooked for us Friday and Saturday. Friday we had roast beef sandwiches and that banana pudding and
pasta salad.
And I can't even name off all this. We had some kind of rice stuff that was really good. The next day was oh, now I get food. The next day we had was it pulled pork? No, chicken. It was chicken. Really good chicken.
Yes, barbecue chicken.
Very moist barbecue chicken. We had that along with some like candied squash. And
it was sauteed squash.
I asked her, did she have any more banana pudding? She was like, no, that's gone. So the banana pudding got demolished. She didn't even call it banana pudding. She said it was banana custard or something. I'm like, that's banana pudding.
Yeah, it's because it didn't have vanilla wafers in it.
Your wiener's a chick magnet. What can I say? Right, Will?
Totally.
I'm not reading chat. I'm sorry. I was trying to tell the long story. What'd you say, CDC? What is the best way to stop leaking at the bottom of a burrow tank? Usually, Cloud Chucker, if it's leaking, you don't have enough cotton in there. They're kind of picky like that. I'll have to get my 520 and build it.
Why did you ask CDC what he said and then answer Cloud Chucker?
Because I don't see what CDC said. I'm looking back.
No, I don't see anything either.
Do you see anything?
I'm looking.
That's why I assumed he was referring to Cloud Chucker.
I was in there making foods.
16 hours, but who's keeping track? some burrows are bad condensation magnets. You know, they may have a little condensation in their darn thing, but I don't think that if it's like flooding, you know the difference. Now, Cloud Chucker, I've also had a problem where, like, say you put what you think is enough cotton in there, but you let it sit in there a few days. Now, cotton has a tendency to droop, and when it does droop, it's going to leak. So, if you don't change it very often, like say you've had that same cotton in there a week, it's very likely that it will leak. Not to mention that, now I don't know what temperature you're at right now, especially in Celsius, but if it's hot outside, all this e-juice that we have becomes a lot thinner, and it makes it a lot easier for it to leak. And now when it gets colder outside, you won't have to use as much wick, and it still won't leak because the liquid will be thicker, just like oil. You know, when oil gets hot, it gets thinner. So just the viscosity of the so I mean, you may be 30 watts is a low wattage. I get that, but it depends a lot on the temperature room that you're in, or if you're outside. It's freaking cold. Okay, I believe you, King Cobra. I believe you.
CDC said his dad was an airplane mechanic. He'd probably get along well with Mr. Gordon.
An airplane mechanic. That's nice. Yeah, if y'all watch the video I post, I'm sorry I'm eating, y'all. Y'all are just gonna have to give me help. Mr. Gordon came Saturday night and took his plane out to fly all his kids. He basically would put 2 kids and take off and fly around, then come back, land, put 2 more kids in, take off. That plane is so quiet, you can't even really hear its motor. It is ridiculous how quiet that plane is. Are you all right? Do I need to come beat on your back? She's over there choking. That's another thing. Let's bring up the other thing that happened. Now, while we're there, I have this giant generator, 3,500 watt Predator generator, Harbor Freight special. I am eating pork loin and potatoes, the little mini potatoes. We're there with a gigantic generator, and we're using it to charge our phones. Now, the main reason we brought the generator is so we could use the Keurig to make coffee in the morning, which worked great because
that's very important.
That Keurig uses 1,750 watts, and I'm like, dang. Now it's an older Keurig. The newer ones probably don't even use that many watts, but that one uses 1,750.
That was the best idea that I had. I'm just saying.
So, well, of course, bring the Keurig. I mean, we could have brought any kind of coffee maker, but
that
one was quick and easy. I will agree, even though it does not.
What we can do is just
like the cold.
Because I'm going to buy that stove. I can just get a French press. We can pre-grind our grounds. So all we need to do is boil water.
We can pre-grind our grounds. We can pre-grind our grounds.
Pre-grind the beans. No,
yeah. So now during all this, Dro also got some video which he did live. Now I don't know what all he's got of us. He stayed over on the side. He didn't come over a lot, which surprised me. I'm like, why is Dro being so distant, man? Come hang out.
He want to leave his dog and his woman.
Yeah, no, I get that. Hey, Breeze. I know he didn't want to leave his dog. Luna is kind of, she's possessive.
She is so sweet, though.
Very cool dog. I mean, I give her that. Luna is, you could just make a noise, and that dog, when it howls, it's got wolf in it. It's just, I mean, it was awesome to hear her howl. And yeah, Ashley could make her do it on command pretty much. She just She'd do like some kind of Indian thing, and then next thing you know, the dog started howling.
No, we're in Virginia, CDC. Yeah, when we came home, my house is a mess. I am so glad that we're not going anywhere this weekend because there's shit everywhere. So I've got.
Speaking of which, so we leave to go to this, fly in, and her daughter agreed to come over and feed the cats and stuff for us. So we bought some country fried steak at the grocery store, right? And also white gravy, which we can make white gravy, but it takes a long time. So we just bought some white gravy. And anyways, we come home and we can't find the white gravy anywhere. Her daughter swiped our white gravy. I'm like, why would you steal the white gravy? Out of all the stuff.
I made the mistake of not putting some of the groceries away. So there was a very eclectic combination of canned goods sitting on the counter, and she thought those were, here's a bunch of weird shit. Take some. So she swiped my gravy.
She just took it upon herself. Oh, they don't really need these this gravy.
At least she admitted it instead of making me think I'd lost
she
my
did
damn
admit
mind.
it. Once you confront her, hey, did you steal our gravy? Yes.
She was like, yeah.
What are you gonna do? Yes, trash bag. That Keurig says it uses 1,750 watts. I'm like, damn, that's a lot of watts for a coffee maker. It's an older Keurig, but it's not that old. It's a Keurig 2.0, I do believe, but it's one of the older models. We have a much newer one, but we didn't want to take that.
Well, thank you, CDC's dad.
To the my dad thinks you're funny. Yeah, we had that helicopter show up, the Navy helicopter. That was pretty cool. They literally just pulled up and hovered right above the airfield, which was like a WS-35, or I know I'm way off on the lettering.
They were totally showing off.
They were.
They're like, ours is bigger.
Keurigs are an energy beast. Tell me about it, Will. So, I didn't get to tell y'all. So, Munchkin needed a charger phone or something. Then Shane brings over his Blue Eddy and was like, I just use this. Blah, blah, blah. So, while I didn't know, Munchkin was looking it up online to see how much the Blue Eddy was. For some reason, they were 33% off. So, now I have a Blue Eddy. It is right here. So, it's good to go. But, you need other things to go along with that. So, Shane also has one of those, basically, it's like a car fridge. They look like a cooler, but it's a fridge, basically. It's 12 volt, or you can plug it straight into power, or you can plug solar and run that into your Blue Eddy and then run the, because they only use, I think, at the max 65 watt, which blows my mind. That fridge that has to keep stuff cold and runs a compressor only uses like 65 watts, where the Keurig uses 1,750 watts. How is that possible?
Oh, okay, because nobody expects you to take your Keurig on a camping trip. The cooler is specifically made to not be used in your home. I'm assuming the people that created the Keurig expected it to be plugged into your house.
Can I do a link? I can, Harry. If I don't know if they're still the same price, but yeah.
And
I bit my tongue.
On top of that, Shane also had a Blackstone electric griddle. So we need to cut down on the amount of stuff that we bring, because even though we had two vehicles, they were still packed full. And I'm not trying to bring an entire ass grill camping.
Wow. The Blue Eddy is still on sale, 33% off. Let me give you a link. I'm going to put that in chat now.
So I went on Walmart where Shane said he got his. And
They're
because there's
literally
no Hiltons on the Eastern Shore where we need to be, AV. Um,
now.
so is $147 for a Blackstone electric griddle. The whole thing comes apart to clean it, and it's about the size of. It's probably only like that tall, and maybe about that big. So it'll fit perfectly in my car. He's not allowed to use it because he'll make it dirty and gross.
So, okay, before y'all run out and buy that Blue Eddy, make sure, read all the specs on it because it's basically 2 times 600 watts, which has got a 1200 watt surge. So I wouldn't plug anything that uses more than 600 watts into it, just putting it out there. I'm using this to charge like cell phones, run a light on it. You can hook it up to DC, like you can plug it into your car. It'll charge this up. It charges pretty fast, actually. Or you can plug it in the wall, or you can run it by solar, however you want to do it. That's that. I'll give you a link also to the cooler that I just bought. That's or refrigerator, if that's what you want to call it. It's about the same price. It's a little bit more, but this is, and I like it because it's called a U-Homie. U-Homie, and it is a 48 quart. They do have smaller fridges like this, but this one is 48 quarts, and it also has an app, so you can basically look at your phone and see what the temperature is inside the cooler without having to go and open it or push buttons to check it, and you also change it. What happened last week? We've been talking about it this whole time, Shopke. What's up, Bill? How you doing tonight? I hope everybody that's down south of us is dry and didn't get flooded out. I know
it's not even down south; it's to the west.
It's
too.
it's
that
west, but it's still south of us technically. Will, Will is here. I'm wondering how Will's doing because I know that place is hit by water like crazy.
I think Will is east of where the heaviest rain was falling. I looked it up on a map.
I wonder if he's still got any flooding. Unless he goes, screw that, I'm going to go do a fly-in while it's raining here.
We were at a fly-in, Peanut. We were out on the Eastern Shore.
Yes, we went to a fly-in. I lost my keys. I thought they were in a cotton field. I almost died in the cotton field. I did find my keys, though.
Yeah, I was
wow,
right,
Will, that sucks.
Wally, I was stalking you on Facebook to see. I didn't get a chance to check where you were at on the map. Yeah, it's crazy how some people got absolutely nothing, and then Asheville, North Carolina is completely underwater. Boone, North Carolina is underwater.
72-mile-an-hour gust. Yeah. See, and Joe, he's all like, "Hey, come to Hummel Field tomorrow morning at dawn. We're gonna go flying." And I'm like, "Man, it's still raining here at my house." And I honestly, I got most of the flying out of me at the fly-in. I got my fix in. I'm sure Will got his fix in. I'm not in a rush to go back out flying, the next weekend.
Well, and they're used to taking off out of a swamp because they take off out of Joe's backyard.
Yeah.
Asheville's where they are. Yeah, that was crazy. I've been the videos from Asheville. Well, I wouldn't say they're worse than the videos from Florida. It depends on what part of Florida you're looking at, but yeah, that it got upgraded to a Category 4. What, an hour or two before it made landfall?
Yeah, who was it? Mark Amundsen? Not Mark Amundsen. Mark Honeycutt? He's the one that was there kayaking in the middle of the freaking runway
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll post tomorrow if I can get away from, if I can get out of my house, which I didn't see another post, so he probably got flooded out. He had to raise his paramotors up in the air
Yeah, but
because the hangar
they
was
were
flooded.
showing in Asheville literal barns, like big ass red barns, right? And entire houses floating down the river. It doesn't do much good if you strap your paramotors up to the top if the whole fucking building floats away.
Hey, Deweese.
Hi, Deweese. How you doing?
Hopefully you managed to stay out of all this rain that came through here and flooding.
Roof came off. Yeah, I mean, we get lucky here because, I mean, just the shape of the coast, North Carolina, they call it the Barrier Islands for a reason, blocks us from getting a lot of that.
Hey, Walter.
So it's very rare that Virginia takes a direct hit with winds that high because there's almost no possible way for it to make landfall without, or to hit us without making landfall somewhere else. Um, but yeah, that shit's crazy.
I mean, as far as the weather goes, I know I told y'all it was great, but honestly, the wind was like
No joke.
between 2 miles an hour and 5 miles an hour anytime that it was time to fly, like first thing in the morning and late at night. Midday, we might get 5, 6 miles an hour, but during the flying times, it was great. I mean, we got to just fly and it was not bumpy at all.
Yeah, I saw that. Will was it that has
really enjoyed it.
had water levels that high from either 1901 or 1910. I can't remember.
Yeah, they were showing that. You know, hey, it's breaking a world's record. Hey, this is too.
Oh, damn it, John Q got in there before I could. Yeah, that's crazy shit. We haven't had, I think the last bad hurricane we had here that's even worth mentioning was Isabel. And that was, I think, 10 years ago, 12 years ago.
You find scuba's gold. Unfortunately, not the scuba cough. Oh my gosh. I hope to never have that scuba cough again because that was something
21
serious.
years ago. Holy shit. All right. Yeah, Isabel kicked our ass.
I can't believe we died again.
Yep. But I did go to that liquor store over on the Eastern Shore, and I found the mint chocolate chip Old Smoky. So they had that, and they also had the pumpkin pie liqueur stuff that is absolutely delicious. So I got a couple bottles of that. But Wild Turkey is a little bit more expensive than what we usually buy. That's all I bought was a bottle of Wild Turkey, 2 bottles of the.
Yeah, they didn't have fighting cock. Go figure.
No, they didn't have that. I saw that one the other day, AB. I looked that up. I was looking at his Facebook, and yeah, he's patient 0.
Still sick. It was autistic. That was a long time ago. I would say I was probably one of the first few people that had. I did not think I had the virus, but it was before it started being publicized. Yeah, we didn't even know there was a coronavirus when I was sick, and it messed me up, man. I was coughing so hard that I passed out and broke my nose on the floor. It was bad. Yeah, no sense of taste. Yeah, that was it. Autistic. I started the virus? No. Somebody gave it to me, that's for sure. It was bad.
Yeah, but where you weren't around anybody that was sick. It was when you were just getting over it when we went to DC.
Yeah, when we went to DC for that rally, I didn't want to get around people because I was so sick. I mean, Fagan and Mike Vapes, they would kind of stay their distance, but they were going to do that anyway, regardless if I was sick.
Yeah, because whatever you got, I got. That's what I came. I came home from work one day and just slept all day, and by the time I went back to work, I was
I'm almost
okay.
done. I got 2 taters left.
I mean, I like apple spice and pumpkin spice. I am glad they are limited to fall because it would
It came from a
be
Chinese
overwhelming.
RTA. Neil, it very well could have, man. That would suck, wouldn't it? I'm like, oh, I got some new equipment in. Boom, I got the
I
virus.
don't think a virus could live that long on a
Probably
dry
not, no.
environment.
But once I heated it back up, it lived
Oh, fire
again.
thing saying you basically gave it to China. You got sick, went to DC, then they went to China. Scuba's the cause of the entire coronavirus. He got some weird. It probably came from a damn toddler. Those little germ vectors.
Will, I
Oh,
did want to
yeah,
show you
buddy.
my pole real quick.
Oh shit!
So
Showing off your pole on the
my
screen.
pole comes in this, just like yours, but this one is definitely not as nice as the one you got. So you win in the pole competition. But it is very nice. It's tall too.
I saw something on
that
Facebook
one is
that
16 feet.
said, I used to think that I had a really good immune system. It turns out I was just really good at staying away from people that would sneeze directly into my eyeballs. That one was $41, Will. And it was off of or not Facebook, Amazon. So I'm sure that you could find somewhere else that had the different
Yeah, I found the one
accessories
like
that you're
Will has
looking
with the link to the pole. Oh, let me get you that, Bill. This pole is really nice, but I need to give you 2 links because one of them is just like the one I got, but the one like Will has is even thicker. But this one's cheaper. It's $42. So
Will's is thicker, yeah.
yeah, Will's is thicker. This pole for a wind sock is amazing. For $42, you would pay that much for one of those crappy poles. Steel and the top is really thick. If you see, it comes in that case. So you basically stick that stake down in the ground and then all the poles hook together. So it folds up into that nice little case right there. And you hook your whatever flag you want at the top.
It reminds me of a pool stick case.
Now, if you want to find the thicker one like Will has,
can y'all still hear us? Because we're spinning on my screen.
This one's only 11 feet tall, 13 feet. See, the ones like Will has is not as tall. I'll get you the closest one. Wow, that link is too long. How do I make that?
Dude, tiny URL. Actually, on Amazon, there's a little share button.
I don't see it.
Well, I'm sorry. Would you like me to go look?
Where's
Will said the better one's only $14 more. Trash bag, what I was saying is you got to pick your battles. That's a risk I'm willing to take for a chocolate fountain.
Do you want to see if you can find the share button? Because I'm looking.
I know I can find the share button.
Oh, wait. What is that button? Share. Copy link. All right. I don't know if that's going to be right. Now, this is the bigger size. Try that. That one is the bigger stainless steel. If you look at the stake that goes in the ground, that is solid stainless steel right there. Now, it's 3 feet shorter, but I don't know how. That one is the one that's almost exactly like Will's, but it's $55. So you can pay $42 for the one like I have, or $55 for the one like Will's got. And just look at the base where it sticks in the ground. Look how thick that one is on the $55 one. It's
Will's pole is much more sturdy and solid. It seems like it's made out of steel and not aluminum. His also
Well, yeah,
comes
it's stainless
with
steel.
his also had, and it had the spike that goes into the ground,
I
but
mean,
it
I can
also
show
had
y'all.
the tripod that was very sturdy. That's what he didn't use the
Yeah, now
stake in the
that,
ground. He
well,
had the tripod out the whole time, and it didn't tip or anything the whole time.
so, all right, here's this one. If I can get it out of here. Oops, I just pulled the cap off of it.
Will said, "Go on." Now they're both black. Yeah, it's very girthy. Yes.
So this is the stake right here. This is all solid, by the way. It's not like hollow aluminum. And there's the pointy end, which actually has a cap that you can put on here so you don't poke yourself. And so does this top. But if you're gonna bang it, you know, they say don't bang certain part of this. I think you can bang this, but don't bang this or something. It tells you on there. And they got serial numbers on there. Go
Don't bang
figure.
your pole.
But yeah, this is just the stake part. And then your pole slides onto here. Click. And then it just keeps going up from there. Very nice though. I like it.
I like that it comes in a carrying case. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in a case. I mean, here's my
It looks
other
like
one.
it looks like a case that you'd get like your pool sticks in. It's
So
that
this is
kind
what
of-
I used
kind of
before,
carry
which is
bag.
called a Black Widow. I think it's a SW6. Now this is all like fiberglass, right? And I had to buy, well, I'm about to poke the window, but I just got a stake like this. And this actually crunched into this pipe because this pipe is hollow. Now the very end of mine got broke, so it is now it's been glued and taped just so that hopefully it doesn't break off.
His pole is hollow and he snapped the tip off of it, so he had to tape it.
But yeah, this one's really long. I don't know how many feet this thing is, but it's.
Do you want to tell them how you broke the tip off?
I was trying to get something out of a tree with it.
Mm-hmm.
This is a BW5. So if you was looking up a Black Widow and you looked up, if you put Black Widow BW5
Seemed great
in
if you're
Amazon,
trying to catch fish.
this is 16 and a half feet. So this is literally half a foot taller than the one I just got. So there's no difference there. I don't know what height Will's was, which is probably the 13-foot one. But honestly, how high does it need to be?
Up above the truck so you can see it.
Long as it's up there, looks like a green that was. Scuba's hair looks like a green that was over aerated. Huh?
He did fracture his pole. Mm-hmm. He did get the tree branch out of the tree, though.
I did. Yeah, I got the tree branch out, but that doesn't help, you know, what happened.
Well, now you don't need to worry about it no more.
I fractured my pole. Yeah. My pole needs banging. Y'all are crazy, I swear. Oh my goodness. We just opened the door for all that, apparently. So I did bring lots
John's got a 50-foot long pole.
I did bring a lot of cameras and stuff with me, which the GoPro, for some reason, I got a battery backup, and for some reason, the battery backup was not charging the GoPro while I was flying. So if that doesn't happen, your GoPro lasts literally about 45 minutes and shuts off because the batteries suck in there. They should allow you to be able to hook it to something and then just make it.
I mean, to be completely honest, you can always take footage from the last time you flew there and just repost that and say it's from Soar the Shore 2024. Nobody would know any different.
But the only thing I have to worry about is when I'm flying is I can't have these dispos where the air can hit the bottom. If I do, I have to flip off the airflow because this little thing will just constantly fire. So I'm like holding it against my chest like this so that it doesn't get air in it. And then I can vape, no problem. But I was kind of happy. The one video I was able to post, I actually got the takeoff and the landing, which I know most of my videos is missing one of the other. It's usually missing either the takeoff or the landing. This time I got both in one video, so I was happy about that. But yeah, we had a great time. And then, the next big fly-in that I guess I'm going to that I know of would be Fly It for Gage in March of next year. So, I mean, I probably will fly before then somewhere around here, but I don't know if it's going to be a fly-in necessarily. There's nothing worse. Yeah. So, I didn't get to tell y'all. For those y'all that didn't notice, it got posted in Scuba's Hangout. Higgy's has got a 30% off sale right now. Just use the code. I think it's falling, FALLING, I think is the right code. And it's 30% off. I'm vaping Nilla Nuts right now.
And FYI, Methuselah herself is still fucking alive.
Yes, Methuselah is still alive. Bella has, she is
worn out her welcome.
I don't know, man. I don't really believe in the whole. Okay. Do y'all think that I've been thinking a lot about this? About should you put a dog down because you think their life is not what it should be right now, or is that inhumane? I don't know. That can go a million ways, I don't know.
The only hesitation I have regarding your dog is the fact that she does not appear to be in pain. That being said, she also has zero quality of life. She wanders around in circles in the kitchen, walks through her own poop, sleeps in her own pee.
But you can't put a person down just because they have Alzheimer's or something.
You can. Some places the person can decide to put themselves down. You can. It is just it is us trying to
not if they are
determine
suffering, right?
Whether the animal is suffering or not.
I don't think she is suffering. That's the thing. I mean, she does struggle. I mean, she walks in circles a lot, but that's because of the stroke she had. The other problem is
it's not.
She
did that before she had the stroke.
No, not like that.
No, she walks in laps around the kitchen. She only walks in laps to the left because of the stroke, but she has been doing that for a very long time. She will not go outside, especially not now. She doesn't go lay down in front of the front door in the sun like she used to. She will go in her bed, stand there, and immediately come right back out over and over and over and over and over again. She's got dementia.
But
she's no idea where she is.
She does get up and move. She's not like laying down all day 24/7.
No, she's not.
So she will get up, and when she gets up and moves around, she moves decently, at a good pace to be a dog that can barely see. She moves pretty good. So, I mean, I don't have the heart to do something like that. I've had her way too long to be like, you know what? Yeah, let's just, stop it now before she gets worse. If she does get worse, that may be that I'll have to cross that bridge when it comes. But I think for now she's okay. If that's the case, I would say it'd be kinder to let her go. But I know it's hard because not just all their family too. Yeah, King Cobra. That's the thing, When she stops eating. Arnie, I agree with that too, but she still eats. I mean, she was eating today. She has not had a problem with eating at all. I mean, it may get to the point to where she doesn't like to to go outside a lot, but she enjoys outdoors, I think.
No, she doesn't.
If there's a way I could keep her outside where she wouldn't, have
No, she
problems.
doesn't, because even when she goes outside, she walks in circles. Even Michelle said she walks in circles at her house.
People don't
Yeah,
just
and
find that.
see, she's not whining. I don't believe she's in any pain whatsoever. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Was it Bill that recently lost a dog, or was it John? I know one of the two did.
I
And
mean, it was me too. My dog
yeah, your dog
passed away
recently
last
passed.
week.
I get it. See, and yeah. I mean, we got 3 cats forced upon us October last year. Okay, Bill.
You get 3 cats forced upon us. I knew they weren't going to take the other 2. Those were my cats from the day they brought them home.
Yeah, but it's I don't know.
Boots was always mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, except for the fact that somehow the dog that can't
She
find
may
her way into her own bed managed to find the one gap in the fence and get out.
Yeah. It's like, oh, she can't see. We got nothing to worry about with her out. No, she found a way out somehow.
Yeah, she will literally walk head first into the island. Bam! But yeah, she found the one hole in the gate.
Oh, your dog's back legs stopped working. No, Bella can still walk, believe it or not. I mean, she does have trouble. She runs into stuff a lot, especially when she runs into the cats and the cats take a swing at her.
That doesn't happen very often.
She doesn't like that. She will grit her teeth, but she don't know what she's looking at, so she's usually pointed away from the
wrong
cats.
direction. Yeah.
When she grits her teeth like and she's growling at nothing, but it's fun to watch sometimes.
Yeah, and see, Bella is got to be what, 19 now.
Yeah, Bella is definitely an old Chihuahua, but yeah, I mean I've had her for so long now.
And here's my gripe: is she absolutely smells horrible.
She does.
She
Even
will
and
not
I just
let
gave
you
her a
trim
bath
her nails.
a few days ago. So
She will pee in her own bed. She will shit on the floor and then step through it and leave shitty footprints all over the house. Thank God we've got linoleum floors so I can mop daily, which I do, with bleach. She will. All right. So the other day I came home. She did not realize I was here. Okay.
If her kidney failed, that's another story, Harry.
Who walks in circles found her way over because she didn't think I was home and was going to go take a shit on the carpet in his bathroom. And as soon as she realized I was here, all of a sudden she hightailed it back to the kitchen. So it's not her bathroom habits are not just because she's old. It's because she has no fucking home training. She's always gotten away with being able to shit and piss wherever the fuck she wants. So why should she start now? And that drives me crazy. I got rid of Sophia because she was peeing on my stove. Fuck that. I don't want to deal with this for 3 more years, coming home and having to mop my floor every goddamn day. I can't put down rugs. I can't put down carpets. Nothing. Because she'll piss on it immediately.
Wow, she's only 12 years old and struggling? Damn.
Well, it depends on what kind of dog she is.
Yeah.
Purebreds especially have a lot of health problems.
Yeah. I don't know.
John Q, look, when I start shitting on the floor and stepping through it, he has my permission to put me down.
Munchie has had enough. Yeah,
I have.
She has pretty much voiced her concerns with the dog. I get it.
I still buy her food. I still buy her puppy pads. I still change her puppy pads. I still wash her blankets. She don't speak English, so she doesn't know what I'm saying to her.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Do I have batteries in that too?
I
No.
don't know,
Good.
probably.
I got batteries in mods. I didn't even know. I was wondering where all the 21700s went, and I'm like hitting the button on some of these, and they're lighting up, and I'm like, oh, look, there's batteries in there. Yeah, it's full. That's where 2 of them are. There's 2 inside this one. It's full too.
Nobody here is surprised by this.
So I gotta I've been using the lipo mod so much, but honestly the lipo, the battery life is not as good as I would have liked it to be.
No, it's not.
Because it was 100%. Now it's 89, which is okay. But I don't vape it enough to be like, wow, the battery's already dead. But yet it dies pretty quick.
It dies very quick.
So what I plan on doing, maybe next week, I'm gonna take some of this concentrate and make a bottle of juice out of it. Because I would like some of this Kentucky bourbon custard. And the one bottle that Higgy's forgot to send, she did send to me, so I have both of them now.
You know what we need to do? We need to go down to the basement and get into that freezer and find out how much nicotine we have left.
Yes.
Because in this bottle, we have basically half a bottle left.
Okay.
And it just disappeared. But yeah, we got a half a bottle.
Yeah, I haven't looked in that freezer in so long.
Yeah, we haven't looked in that freezer since we moved in and plugged it in.
No, I looked in there once, but it's
Oh.
been a while. It started going downhill. Doesn't want to go outside all the time. Went on the vodka, and she's 15. Wow. Oh, went on vacation. Gotcha.
Yeah, see, I had my cat Groucho, who was probably like 11 or 12, and he ended up getting like he had a big lump in his neck, and the vet said it was nothing to be concerned about. But I noticed like he wasn't cleaning himself like he used to. And then one day when I came home from work, I was sitting on the floor scanning my stuff in like I did every day. And I noticed my cat did not come up to me to say hi or to smack the papers out of the back of my scanner. Katie had left the door open and he had gotten out. And he never came back. And then we had Nermal, who developed dementia and would walk around in circles, or she would just go walk into the corner and stand there. And from everything I read, there's nothing that you can do. But she wanted outside, and my neighbors were very concerned about the cat. And you need to take her to the vet. And I'm like, why? She's old. There's nothing that we can do. She's happy. She still uses the litter box. She still eats. And she disappeared out of the backyard when I was letting her wander around the backyard. I think the neighbors took her.
I think, especially on the next big flying that I go to, I got to do a foot launch again. I don't want to get so hooked on the trike that I don't foot launch anymore.
Why?
I mean, because both of them are cool, but I've got landing the trike down. I mean, it's once you get it, you got it, I think. But I want to land on my feet some more with the paramotor because I haven't really done it a lot.
Pretty good too, because that's without
launch.
a green screen too, Linda.
Yeah.
Because I'm too lazy to pull it out. It's right there, but I don't feel like.
Yeah, when I use a background, it does the same thing. Mine does not look good. I think because she's got on all black or something, and her hair's dark. Because mine looks weird around my hair when I use a background, so I try not to do it. Like, even if I did it now, it's gonna look weird. Let's see, backgrounds. Let's just pick, I don't know, this one. Well, it's not too bad, I guess. So I'm at the beach. We're about to go flying.
Well, Neil, I
catch some waves.
My cat's litter box stays clean. For having 3 of them, I clean it usually once every morning, sometimes in the evening if they drop a particular stinky one. I tried to get them a second litter box. They didn't want to have any part of it. They're like, no, one's
Um,
fine.
I haven't made one, Bill, as far as trike training goes. There's too much responsibility in it. I wouldn't mind making one, but I would really hate for somebody to watch a video like that and then just go out and try it. I mean, obviously you've been flying for a while. You know the basics, so it wouldn't be that hard. But for a new person to see that video and go out and go, yeah, I watched a video and I think I can do it, that I would be afraid of. But
I could
honestly,
watch fucking Chucky.
transitioning from foot launch to trike is pretty easy because once you got the foot launch down, the trike is very similar in a lot of ways. As long as you know how to get under the wing, you're pretty much golden. That's the main thing with the trike. And I'd say the biggest part of a trike is setting your wing up correctly before you take off. If you get that done, your wing comes up 9 times out of 10, almost perfect. Every time. Every time I've done it. I had one that came up to the edge, but that was because I was next to some trees and there was rotor. I mean, that, and I've got video of that. It came up way over to the right. So, and that was just the rotor from the trees pushing the wing down. And the very next one, I took off more to the left and it went straight as an arrow. Oh, you trained yourself? Yeah, I got you, Bill. The only small amount of training that I did have on a trike was with Kyle O'Glee, and we used that trainer trike he had, and it was basically just getting the wing up. Now there was a motor, but there was no prop on that. But just getting the wing up and getting control of it and going down the airstrip with it and turning, that was it. But once I think the main thing with the trike is, yeah, once you get up in the air, cool, but the more times you do it, the easier it gets. It's just repetitive. Once you do it so many times, it gets a lot easier. I know I went flying 5 times during this fly-in and not once. And I know Will was there. I don't know if he saw every one of my launches because he was asleep some of those times, but I never had to set up a second time. Every one of mine was go on the first try. Every one of them.
Not experience any failure to launch. Yeah, Neil, our cats, well, cat, one of them in particular, will pee on plastic bags if they're left on the ground. I don't know why, but they will.
I was having some issues with the trike liking to turn right a lot. Now, what I did do, oh yeah, you need to do that, Cloud Chucker. Do not let LiPo batteries get under 20%. I would say 30 to be safe, but do not let them get below 20. That damages the battery. So if you have a LiPo, the best thing to do is if you're going to say you fully charge that LiPo you got there, Cloud Chucker, don't fully charge it and let it sit. That's very bad for the battery to let the battery sit at 100%. On a LiPo, it would be better for you to use it and get it down to about 50% and then let it sit. And then if it ever drops down to 30 or 20%, charge it. Bring it back down to 50 and let it sit. The battery likes to be evened out right there. If you have really high charge, it's like wanting to leak over the electrons to the other side and it'll screw the battery up. It puts a bad resistance in there. So you saw Will fly? Yeah, I got Will fly multiple times in the video. Now I got other videos, like I said, but I got to figure out how I'm gonna post them because a lot of them have no sound. I have a video of me going over that cloud. I think I have a 360 video of that. By the time I tried to use the 360 video on the video that I posted, the battery was dead on the 360. I didn't know it. I literally turned the camera on, hit record, sat down, was about to take off, and I watched the 360 turn off. I'm like, well, I guess that's not going to record. So I didn't get recording of that particular fight on the 360, but they work great as long as you charge that battery. I should have kept it charged up. Oh yeah, with the trike you can that's the cool thing with the trike, Walter. You can sit there and learn how to kite your wing and steer around the field. So if you're new to it, you want to go to a really big field with nothing in your way, no poles, trees, rocks on the ground, to where you can bring your wing up and basically just kite around the field. I did find out from one of the guys I fly with, we're trying to get access to one of the parks to fly on a regular basis. We're going to find out if they're going to let us or not. We were told that we will be allowed to kite anytime we want, but not to have a motor on our back. That way they know we're not about to take off if we don't have a motor on our back. So we're free to kite, which we should have been anyway. But to fly, though, we're going to see when and if we can get permission to do that. It's a very limited area, though, because if you go a little bit to the south, you're in a historic park, and you're not allowed to take off or land there, so you can only fly over, and I'm sure if you stayed over it too long, they get ill, mad. If you fly north, you fly into the restricted airspace of Langley, so you would have to call. So, and you don't want to hover over a particular area because you tick people off. So what do? I have to call Langley and just go north. Do you have a resistor on your sound system? You have sound when you have revs. Oh, Walter, that is a particular problem with the smoke headset. I did put on some noise reduction ferrite things, 3 of them. I put one on my spark plug wire, one on the microphone wire, one on the battery cord wire, just to try to bring any of the noise down. It still does it. And it mainly does it. I mean, if you watch that video, the last video I posted, anytime I look to the left, that's when the noise gets really bad. If I'm looking to the right, it doesn't do it. If my engine is at idle, like when I went to 2,000 feet and I let my engine idle, my sound was crystal clear. I mean, like crystal clear. So it works good. It just has a problem when the motor's revving high or I'm looking to the left at speed. Otherwise, it's fine. The V3 though, it gives me a lot more issues. I'm gonna have to mess with it some more, but when I have a lot more time to fly. Otherwise, I'm not gonna. Because the V2 seems to work fine for me. The V3 has given me issues too many times. It literally makes my sounds garbled. You can't hear what the heck I'm saying. I thought it was just when I had side tone off, but it was doing it with side tone on also. So either one was messing up. Yeah, there is a lot of people that live over there that are highfalutin folks, and they don't want anybody. You would think people, I know if it was me, even if I had a high dollar house over there, I would enjoy watching somebody fly by. It's not a nuisance. It's not so loud that it's like a jet or something going by. And we don't fly close enough to somebody's house to piss them off. So I really don't see why there's a problem. There just got to be Karens out there that want to cause problems.
Well, thank you.
Oh, you may have to put. I told you, Cloud Chucker. Once you get it down below, I safe is 30%. When you get to 20, it's questionable. You had it down at 8%. That is definitely not good.
Fort Monroe used to be an old military fort, obviously. So most of the buildings there are, it does, doesn't it, Breeze? Most of the buildings there are used for governmental purposes, but there are some rich folks that bought some of the historical houses over there. Um, there was a beach club down at the end that isn't even close to where these people are, right? Um, and it got closed down because the people that live there were reporting problems. And apparently there was a shooting that was not even on Fort Monroe. It was off Fort Monroe, but they said the people had been at this beach club before, so they shut it down. They pitched a fit when they got approval to open it back up because they don't want anybody over there. Because people go and park, and there's parking lots across the street from some of these houses. So there's always people down there, on their one wheels or their bikes riding up and down the boardwalk and walking. They just don't want people over there.
I'm sorry, but public is public.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to deal with that, no matter
They
where
don't
you
want
move.
it to be public, is my point.
Especially on the beach. If you live out in the middle of the mountain somewhere, I can see you're trying to get away from people, fine. But if you live on the beach, man, people are going to come there. So you just got to deal with it. Unless it's a private beach, cordoned off from everybody, like when they do nude beaches and stuff, then yeah.
Well, I hope she's doing okay, Creep.
Shauna, total shoulder replacement. Ow. Ow, Creed.
So, arm completely immobile for the next 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, that could hurt.
Him had to have that done. I had to go.
Is there
there to
anywhere I could
rebuild
get a
their
new
ship
lipo
and
for
redo
your
a cotton
Hydron
line
Pro?
plant.
You know, Cloud Chucker, I looked for those. The problem with it is you can find the same Ma battery, but finding the same size is the problem. They do have them in China, but it's going to take you a
might
while
be able to
to
go.
get them.
I don't know if they've got like a batteries plus over there like they do here. You might be able to get one of those places to order one for you, but it ain't gonna be cheap.
To get one in the right size is the problem. Because that battery, if it's any bigger, it won't fit.
Well, I said you'd have to have them order it. You could take your shit up there and say, "I need one this size."
Yeah. I'm trying to
Yeah,
put my
hobby shop.
steak back in the case. Man, this
Get your pole away.
Velcro is something serious.
Y'all need to go to Sam's Club and get you some of these. They're delicious.
Okay, there we go. All back in there now.
Well, you can't see what it is. They are sea salt caramels. They are so good.
It's like a pool stick. It comes in a case just like a pool stick. Which I know that's not showing up good, but I showed it earlier. Oh, you're going to Expo next month. Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad idea to have something like that, at least as a backup. Even some disposables. Well, no, don't bring disposables to back up because there'll be plenty of those at the show. I guarantee it. We got away with some vicious ants. We won. We didn't die. We know dead. We know dead.
Win the ones that I don't join.
So the fridge that I posted earlier, that one is coming Sunday, so I don't have it yet. But from what I understand from Shane, he took that Blue Yeti, Blue Eddie, little. Now I didn't show y'all this, but let's see if I'm probably gonna have to turn my background off for this. So let me do that now. Video settings, background, none. All right, there we go. So on the front of this, you got your two 110 plugs over here. Then up here, you got a USB port, another USB port, a USB-C port. Over here, you got a place to plug in solar. You also have the little like cigarette lighter plug you can plug in right there. This one down here is where you plug in to charge it from the wall if you want to charge it. Looks like a normal computer type plug. It also has a round plug if you're using solar to charge it. Can do it that way. This is a very bright light. It's pretty bright. And it also does SOS if you need to tell somebody SOS. On the top of it, it does have wireless charging for your phone. It's a 15-watt charger, wireless. So you can lay your phone on top of that and charge it. But from what Shane was saying, he used this hooked to that cooler or refrigerator and ran it all night. And it was able to keep it running all night on one charge off of that. He still had battery power the next morning. So the main thing about using a fridge like that, like when we go to fly-ins, we got to take a cooler, right, to keep our drinks cold. But you have to buy ice. And then the next day, you probably got to buy more ice. Or say your cooler lasts 2 days, whatever. If you got a fridge like what I'm getting, you just plug that in to this thing and it'll just run the whole time. And if I ever need to charge it back up, I can literally take it in my truck and charge it back up in like an hour and it'll be full again. And I can run it all over again. And it keeps your drinks down to -4. So that's really cold. You don't want to get your drinks that cold because they will freeze. So I would bring them down to, in the higher 30s. That's plenty cold enough for a drink. That's for sure. And 48 quarts holds plenty. They have smaller ones that are even cheaper, but for the price, what was $229? They have one that's like $188, but it's a 30 quart. Shane said he wished he had a bigger one, so I went ahead and got a bigger one because I didn't want to get the small one and then hate the fact that I didn't get a bigger one for just a few dollars more. What, $20 or $30 more? So that's why I got the bigger one. And the fact that it had an app with it, so I could just set it from my phone and I don't even have to go over and play with the controls at all. So that's why I got it. So we'll see how well it works when it gets here Sunday. And I will know by the next show how well it does. Y'all are getting brave, just mod heisting like crazy. Y'all just try to rip me off all the time.
Yes, we're going to rob you blind.
I don't want frozen Pepsi. 32 degrees is fine. Right, John Q? Well, 32 is probably going to freeze it. That's the freezing temperature. Oh, y'all got drowned in the sex pond. You knew better.
That's because I entered it.
So
How'd I drown myself?
Yeah, you should have got away if you drowned them. Right? I think you got to wait a second, Will, before you can do another mod heist, but good for trying. That damn sex pond. Harry.
Yeah, so the Blackstone that I'm looking at is 17 inches, right?
It's only 17? I thought it was 27.
Oh, no, there's another one for 22 or 22 inch, but that one is $278. The one I'm looking at is 147.
Well, okay, let's be honest. If we're using it for a fly-in to cook for just us, 17 inches is probably big enough.
Yeah, it is big enough.
It's not like we're cooking like for a whole flock of people.
Well, the whole point of it is to be small, compact, and easy to carry around.
Right. You said that one ran off of what? Is it electric or
it's
is
electric?
It? Oh, yeah. It's electric. Boogie oogie oogie. Yeah. Boogie oogie boogie.
Boogie boogie boogie.
If it's electric, though, depending on how many watts it uses, that may not run off this. That may have to run off the generator.
I don't know.
Well, that would be things we need to know before you buy it.
Well, I haven't bought it yet.
We will check. Arnie wants to bid high. He's just like, I'm gonna bid 250,000. And last time I bid that high, we lost, and I was like, man, I'm going broke over here trying to monetize myself. RS1 got them 50,000. So he got 100,000, doubled his money. I don't know. I mean, all in all, we went and had a much better time than I thought we were going to have.
1,500 watts.
1,600?
1,500.
Oh, well, that's a little less than the coffee maker, so.
Or 120 volts, 5 amps, 60 hertz.
Okay. Well, that would definitely be more than this little guy could handle. It'd have to run off the generator.
Do not submerge this griddle or attempt to use in the rain. Okay.
Well, that wouldn't happen. We do have a nice pop-up canopy that's 13 by 13, so we can use that. I will say that the tent we got, which is a core tent, did not leak any water whatsoever. In the only time we got wet, which was just a drop of water, is because we had the windows open on the tent, and a little rain blew through one of the screens and got on my arm, and I was like, oh, I got wet.
Now, it did rain its ass off Saturday night at like 2 a.m.
Yeah, I slept right through it.
And I mean, it rained its ass off, and it didn't leak. Damn it, I drowned y'all in the saxophone again. Now, I did have an exciting event. So, bugs, for the most part, don't bother me. I don't like the kind that bite, like mosquitoes can go to hell. I don't like them, right? There was a bug in the vicinity of our tent. It was like midnight, right? Everybody else was asleep. It was all quiet. I could not sleep. So I'm sitting on my little cot in the dark, texting Katie, telling her about what's going on. She was telling me about the kids' trip to the aquarium. And I was telling her that there was a bug somewhere in our tent. And she's like, what kind of bug is it? I said, I don't know. It's the kind that goes, because that's all you could hear them go, and then another bug somewhere else would go, and you could hear it like trailing off into the forest, and then you could hear it coming back. So I'm sitting there just minding my own business. And all of a sudden, something very heavy lands on my head. And I texted Katie, and I was like, something just landed on my head. She's like, what was it? I don't know. She said, what are you going to do? I don't know. I'll be right back. So I just kind of sat there in the dark with a mystery bug on my head, trying to figure out, okay, so do you just jump up and go, get it off, get it off, get it off? Or do you slowly get off the cot, unzip the tent, go outside and go, get it off, get it off, get it off? But I didn't. As I'm sitting here contemplating, or there's always the other option. I could reach up and touch it. That's Sukul's niece. Why don't you time her out? Granddaughter.
That's her granddaughter? Then why did she put A, B, C, D, E, F, U?
I don't know.
That's a weird combination to go from F over to U. I'm just saying. That's why she got timed out.
I recognize her face.
You can talk again in 5 minutes if you prefer to actually type English and not what a cat would do if it ran across a keyboard.
Maybe her cat ran across the keyboard. No, he was on the other side of the tent. So the option was there to reach up and like to identify this. And when I tell you, it was not a small bug either. I felt that shit hit my head. So as I'm contemplating, what should I do? It jumped off my head onto my pillow. And I thought it was a frog. That's how heavy of a thwack it made when it was a giant katydid. It had to have been about that big.
Well,
so it landed on my pillow and then crawled up beside the tent, so I escorted it outside. But that's a good way to get your blood moving.
I remember hearing it before I went to sleep twice because I heard that and I was like, what the heck is in our tent?
It was a katydid, a very large one. Yeah. Um, I really didn't want to reach up to touch it because I remember that happening while I was sitting in traffic at a stoplight, and it's very unnerving when you reach up and feel legs and shit. I didn't, I was not looking forward to that. But it was big. It was very large, so it had to go outside.
The one thing you do have to look out for at that field, especially in September, there was a lot of crickets and grasshoppers.
Yes.
And you do not want to put your wing away with those down in one of the cells because they will eat their way out, which means it puts a hole in your wing. So
I don't
I
think
tried to
she
do
was
my
trying to be a
best
troll.
to shake out, huh?
He said got more mods than anyone on YouTube and had to time out his own troll. I'm fairly certain, if I remember correctly, that is Sue Cool's granddaughter.
Sue Cool's granddaughter.
Yes, I recognize her face.
Well, she managed to talk, and I made it where she can talk all she wants for 5 minutes, just nobody can see it.
Oh, okay. She just
If
talking
there
to
are
you.
katydids, are there katydidn's?
I mean, it almost became a katydid. If it would have stayed in my hair for much longer.
I'm surprised she didn't wake me up with the bug on her head. Maybe it did wake me up, but I probably fell right back asleep anyway because I actually slept really good on the cots we have.
I froze.
They're firm, and I had a nice thick blanket. I was good, man.
The only thing that I didn't like, no, Sue Cool's granddaughter, the only thing that I did not like is I'm a fan of dry, right? I don't do humidity. Um, no, katydids aren't cicadas. Those are two different bugs
Yeah,
entirely.
they're different bugs.
It so my pillow and my blanket was damp. I don't like that. Um, I'm not a fan of dampness.
I never really noticed the dampness on the pillow. By the time you lay down on it, man, it was still kind of warm and sticky out, but by the time it got late, it
Yeah.
was very cool and easy to fall asleep, which knocked me out. I was out. I know, well, it wasn't the first night. I know
No,
Wednesday I didn't sleep good. Thursday, I think I
that's
slept like a rock.
katydid. They look like giant leaves.
Just the thought of tinning, really, Linda, it's honestly not bad. Considering we had access to not only Shane's shower, but the shower that was at the airport, along with a
Well,
bathroom.
And when you're anal retentive like me, that got up every morning and shook out the blankets and folded them on top of the beds, and I had a towel down in front of the tent so people could wipe their feet and not track dirt into the tent. And I wiped the floor down and made sure that our dirty clothes went into a separate bag. And I, yeah, the tent was clean. Tent was, yeah. And I found something that I've discovered that I hate more than wet grass on my feet is walking on a tarp that's wet in bare feet. That was horrible. I appreciate him trying to protect me from not having to step in wet grass, but a wet, wrinkled up tarp on barefoot? No, no, we're not doing that anymore. That was a failure. That was horrible. It was bad. Didn't like it at all. Um, so yeah, we had to pull the tarp up. Take the tarp up. I'd rather be on wet grass barefoot than walk on a wet tarp. It was unacceptable. Because he was supposed to bring one of the outdoor rugs that we have and forgot it.
Yeah, I tried to remember everything. That was one thing I didn't write down was that carpet. because we got an outdoor carpet, but we didn't bring it. So it says we lost internet connection. So I bought a tarp, but that tarp, it was 20 by 40, and it was honestly way too big, it seemed like, because I was having to fold it over. It was unpleasant to walk on. Did it keep the water out? Yes, but it was unpleasant. Okay,
Worse.
thanks, Will.
It was horrible. It was worse than walking on wet carpet because it was all lumpy and it was and my feet stuck to it when I tried. It was bad. It was bad. I didn't like it. It was horrible.
Well, yeah, I agree on the tarp. So I end up pulling up the tarp. Victor finally decided to come out and play. He's been off for like a month. I just plugged him up.
I don't slide around in dog shit. That's why I mop my floor every freaking day because it gets cleaned up. I don't have just dog shit laying about my house. That gets cleaned up immediately.
Yeah. So, Linda, I honestly, the cots that we sleep on are just like a mattress. They're very comfortable.
They're very sturdy too.
But it's sturdy. They're solid. So it doesn't like, I don't know. It feels like a well-made bed, honestly. Oh, is that one of the cushions?
Yeah. It's a little
There's one of the cushions that goes on top of the cot that Munchkin's holding.
Well, can they see it? All right, yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah, it's pretty thick. So, okay, as long as they're in front of me. Yeah, they're pretty thick, and they hook on to the edge of the cot. So
you're gonna fall,
nice
Victor.
And cushiony.
I don't feel like walking around.
Here's the thing, Neil, is it wasn't slippery. It was sticky. So it was just wet enough to where every time you took a step, the tarp would pop up with your foot, and then there was little puddles of water everywhere and all the grass, and it just I like it.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy the tarp either. That's why we took it up. I mean, it'll be a good tarp to cover something outside if we need to, because it's huge, but for use out there, it would have been better off with just that carpet, which is what we'll use next time, even if I have to get another one, because it stays flat and it doesn't stick to your feet.
I don't know, Scott. I think maybe he thought Scuba was referring to you. I have no idea.
I don't know. I think it's been 5 minutes. I can probably talk again. Probably. If they decide to stumble across the keyboard again.
I never played for some reason it didn't bother me when I was a kid at all. As an adult, I cannot stand wet grass touching my feet. When we used to live on Fort Eustis, there was a big field behind all the houses that every time it rained, the field would flood. So it was like basically a 2 to 3 foot deep pool where you could get sucked into the storm drain. We'd go swimming in that. It didn't bother me. Now as an adult, I don't like it. Yeah. Especially if I have like on flip flops and I'm walking through the grass and it's
Munchkin might have got tent hair, but my hair is too short to get tent hair, so I was fine. You know what we didn't have at this fly-in? Nobody did any tandems at all. I mean, one guy did bring a trike that was tandem, but that's the guy that cut his lines, and I wouldn't have trusted him to take anybody up anyway. He's not tandem certified. He wants to be, but he's not. And he has not taken anybody up ever. So, yeah, that would not have been smart at all. But, yeah, I still got this wire sitting here for Creed. Creed's probably like,
here's the thing.
Remember that wire you made?
I could walk through mud barefoot. Perfectly fine. Wouldn't bother me at all. Wet grass? Not having it. Can't do it. Like it's where it touches the top of my feet. Just gives me the
for some reason she's got a thing with wet grass, John Q. She can't walk across it. She's like, I'm not walking across wet grass. So She just won't do it.
Yeah, if I have shoes on, it's fine. If I've got like flip flops where it's gonna touch me, absolutely fucking not.
I don't. It doesn't bother me. I will walk barefoot right through wet grass, no problem. I don't like it when it's muddy, but you know, if I got to do it, I got to do it. Your lipo has started charging. It's at 58%. Cloud Chucker, when you're using eScribe, bring it up to where you can see each individual cell of the battery. I think isn't that a 3S? So it has 3 cells. See if they're all charging evenly. Like, see if each one of them are at the same voltages. Usually eScribe is smart enough to charge the lowest one first. So say you have one cell at 3.7 volts and the other one's at 2.5. The 2.5 one should start coming up while the other ones stay at 3.5, if you get what I'm saying. It'll start to charge that middle cell faster than the other two, and then they get to be even, and then they all end up being the same. If the battery's good, they should all end up not exactly the same voltage, but close. If they do that, then they're fine. What are you doing, Vector? He got stuck on the coffee cup handle. It's a 4S. Thanks, King Cobra. Then the 4 cells you should be able to see is charging on your 1 amp. Ooh, not eScribe. Well, the problem with that is it's going to show you what it thinks it is, because your 1 amp charger is probably not a balanced charger. So you may be charging 2 of the cells to max capacity, but the other 2 cells are still at 0. If I was you, I would put it on eScribe. Especially, I mean, it won't hurt to charge it a little bit on your 1 amp charger, so that when you do hook it to eScribe, it can trickle charge the low cell. So now that you've gotten it up to 58%, it's probably a good idea to switch over to eScribe and let it charge until they level out. Then you can move it back over to the 1 amp if you would like. That's what I would do. Because if you overcharge those to where they're full and then the other cell is still low, that's going to be bad. What is the life cycle of a lipo? They vary, Neil. It depends. I mean, the more times you charge it, the more it depletes the battery. It can vary on lots of factors, especially when you let the lipo get too low. That's the main thing that kills them. Letting the battery power get too low so that it can't be charged, or B, letting the battery sit at 100% charge. Like, you charge it to 100% and then just set it down and don't mess with it. That's bad. You want the battery to sit about 50 to 60%. Like, use it some to bring it down to about 50% and then let it sit. Because if you set it down at 100%, it's going to kill that lipo. Or if you set it down at 30 to 20% and let it sit to where it drops down lower to maybe 8%, like Cloud Chucker's got, that's also it may not kill the battery, but it definitely damages the battery. It puts resistance in it between, so that the electrons can't flow freely between the positive and negative. And any kind of that blockage screws up the battery. It'll mark it as a bad cell or a bad part of the battery, and it won't charge anymore. I think we had great flying weather. I was completely content. It was better weather now even than we had at Spring Wing. And Spring Wing, everybody showed up. Everybody. I mean, that was good weather too, but not as good as we just had. That was like perfect for flying. So I'm glad everybody that came did come and was able to enjoy themselves and not just go, well, I guess we're just going to hang out. You are officially weird. Thank you, John Q. I appreciate it.
I think he's talking about me.
Oh, you?
And yes, I know. I have things that I'm very particular about certain things. like my desk at work.
You don't
Has
like
to be
overhead
completely
lights.
organized before I leave, everything in its place, all pens put away. I can't I don't know how my boss doesn't have an anxiety attack every time he walks into his office because it looks like a filing cabinet exploded. I can't do that. Files in the racks need to be straight without papers sticking up willy nilly out of them. Don't like that either. Um,
That's the other good thing about this
the big light, don't like overhead lights.
little battery jumper pack. This has one of those LiFePO4 batteries in it, so
What
it's
the fuck is that?
way lighter than the old lithium ion batteries. All the newer batteries are and they have a lot longer life than the
Big
old
light
batteries.
sucks. How can you relax and watch TV with the big light on? There's no ambiance. It's just fucking bright. I don't like the big light.
Yeah, what was that? It's Shane. Shane and Krista. What'd they say they kept their AC at? 60 degrees?
65.
55?
65.
65.
Or
I thought he
62
said
maybe.
60 or something. And he's like, if it gets any hotter than that, then Krista raises hell. And I'm like, that's freaking freezing, dude. How do you do that?
I want to know what kind of insulation they have in their house in Florida where they can actually get their room down to 62 degrees.
Well, even if they could, that's turning.
No, they
That's
said they
using
do have
a
they do
lot
have
of
a
power.
window here. If they've got a window unit in their room, which I think he says he does, and
Oh,
the
that'll
door
do
is
it.
shut to the rest of the house, yeah, I could see it. But yeah, I can't sleep when I'm hot. I want to be cold
I don't want to be that cold.
with the ability to get warm. So I want to be cold and to be able to get in my nice comfy bed and wrap up in my blankies and be warm. I don't want to be hot because then I can't cool down. If it's already 80 in my bedroom, sticking a foot out of the fucking
See,
blanket is not going to do any good.
I like between 73 and 74. I can sleep comfortably in that. Anytime that Munchkin puts it
Lizard.
down to 72,
You
I
damn
freeze.
lizard.
It's freaking cold in there, man.
No, it's not, you lizard.
I mean, I enjoy a nice cool bed, but getting it down to freezing where I'm like, holy
70
crap.
degrees is not freezing, you lizard. Lizard man.
I don't mind the heat. You know, I
don't like lights on when I'm sleeping.
My AC is set to 73. There you go, Scott. That's a good temperature right there. I like that temperature. Munchkin sneaks it down to like 70 and tries to freeze me out of here. Our AC actually works surprisingly well in this house.
Yes,
it freaking gets it cold.
So I don't know if I told y'all about me getting ill the other night and sweating so much that my shins were sweating and I thought I was going to throw up. I told Scuba the other night that I had a horrible realization. What if that was just a hot flash and everything that I've been experienced up to this point have not been hot flashes? If that's what I have to experience, fucking kill me now because that was horrible. I didn't like that at all.
I did buy one of those touchless thermometers, so the next time I'm gonna put it by the bed. Next time Munchkin has one of these weird flashes, I'm gonna zap her and find out what her temperature is. It was like a cold sweat.
But it wasn't a cold sweat. I didn't feel cold. I felt like I was on fire.
But your head was cold. It was weird.
I don't know, John Q. I thought because my stomach hurt, I thought maybe I gave myself food poisoning. I got up to pee. I was fine walking from the bed to the bathroom. As soon as I sat down, a wave of dizziness hit me and I started sweating out of everything. My shins were sweaty. I was dizzy. I felt like I was going to pass out. I just went and laid back in bed until it went away. Now they're not going to give you a
Well,
hysterectomy
Linda,
because you're going through
we
menopause, Scott.
used to leave the TV on. Usually we turn it off right as we went to sleep. This is what we started doing was we would put the TV on like thunderstorms. We both like listening to thunderstorms and rain to fall asleep. So instead of using the TV now, we have
Oh,
that
shit.
off. And now I have a laser projector that basically puts green stars all over the ceiling and the walls, along with some kind of constellation thing going on. And it also plays thunderstorms at the sound level you prefer,
Oh, no, a man
24/7.
had me call
So
911 because they were dying. And I prefer the TV on the thunderstorms because to me the laser is too bright.
the
Because
laser, okay. I've tried.
not the beams on the ceiling. It's the light coming off the
Oh,
machine.
well, don't look at the light on the
Right.
machine.
I can't help it. I
All right.
know it's on, and
Well, I
the
can't see it because it's
thunderstorms
in the corner and
the
that post
thunderstorms
blocks it.
sound very tinny
So
to me.
this is how you can judge when the room's too bright, right? So say you have a light on the room, you close your eyes. If you can cover your hand over your eyes and you see the light change, like get darker, then that means the light is too bright in the room.
Right.
And you probably,
And I can.
when I do that, when the lasers are on, I see no difference whatsoever when
Well,
I put my hand.
good for you. Do you want a fucking cookie?
That means it's not
Because
too bright.
it is too bright for me.
Hey, Ziggy, what's my notification?
Because
One
I
new
can see the
notification.
difference.
From Amazon Shopping. For Shannon, a shipment has arrived.
Now?
No, she's just late as shit.
How's she going to tell me a shipment has
I
arrived
don't
just now?
And the thunderstorm noises they make sound tinny. I don't, yeah. Yeah, I can't see it. I put it in the corner on her side, right? Yeah. So the fucking bedpost in my robe block the light from him. I can see it though.
Yeah.
So when I close my eyes, I can tell. If my eyes are closed and he comes in and turns it on, I can tell just by the light change.
We definitely have a ceiling fan going. That fan has not turned.
I
Well,
don't have any cookies.
I put a brand new ceiling fan in when we moved in, and it has been running 24/7 ever since.
One
but-
that was in there before was like this big.
Yeah.
I've never seen
Besides
a
stopping to
ceiling
clean
fan
it
that
every
small.
once in a while, other than that, it's run 24/7.
But it's quiet, so it doesn't make any noise.
It's a very quiet ceiling fan. I like it. And it's big. It's like 52 inches, 52 or 53 inches. It's a big ceiling fan. The other one was like, what, a 20-inch? It was freaking little. Yeah, it was a little bitty
Well,
thing.
like at the old house, there was a ravine behind our house. So without the TV on and all that stuff, I used to fall asleep and I could hear all the frogs. And I enjoyed that. This one likes to fall asleep with the TV on. I gotta fight him for the remote to turn it off.
I turned the TV off. Come on. I do not fall asleep with the TV
Every
on.
once in a while you do, and I have
Well, that's
to
because I just
hunt for the remote.
get drunk and pass out. There you go, Harry. That sounds like my way to fall asleep. But
Because my brain will want to stay up listening to the TV all night, and I can't go to sleep.
the problem with what Harry is saying, if I get drunk and pass out, I have to get up 2 or 3 times in the night to go pee. If I just fall asleep, normally I sleep through the whole night, but usually when I drink, I have to get up to pee multiple times, which sucks. I hate having to wake up.
That's when you keep your eyes closed so you don't lose any sleepiness while you're on your way to the bathroom.
I would hate to miss because my eyes are closed.
Well, you can crack one open when you get to the toilet. You know where it's at. It's on your side
You
of
got
the
to
bed.
turn the light on, so if you crack your eye
No,
open,
you
you
don't
get
have to
blinded
turn
by
the
the
light.
light.
Does your night vision just suck ass? Why do you need to turn the light on?
My
Your
night
eyes
vision.
have been closed the whole time, so when you wake up in the dark, you should be able to see, especially with the fucking laser beams. It's like a night light.
The laser beams don't go into the bathroom.
No, but you can still see.
If I left the door open, I might be able to see.
You
then
can
the
leave the door
beams would
open.
go
You're just
into the
taking a leak.
Bathroom. So
Damn.
you're
Will says
you're
he's
up
over
4
400
times
away.
every night. Damn, Will. That's a lot, dude. Yeah, I only have to get up if I've been drinking. If I don't, and I haven't drank a gallon of water right before bed, then I sleep through the whole night. So that, and I told my doctor, I was like, normally I can sleep through the whole night, but if I've been drinking, I got to get up to go potty. Otherwise, my body will tell me, "The hell are you doing?" So I got to wake
Now,
up.
if I go to bed and fall asleep, then I might wake up like every other night and have to get up and pee. But if he's watching TV or something, or I have a problem when I can't fall asleep because I get insomnia a lot, I'll get up 3 or 4 times before I finally fall asleep. Yeah, yeah. The real problem is when you don't wake up to piss. Yes, if you dream you're standing at the toilet, you're not.
There's one of my little ferrite clips that I had on my microphone. And when you close this thing, it's almost impossible to open it. So yeah.
Well, that was.
I got
kinda
a
out of
big
left
one. This
field.
one didn't come. This one's huge, but it came with something else. This one's white too, so I got a whole box of those ferrite things I bought off of Amazon. They were
Well,
cheap.
good night in advance, Cloud Chucker.
It is time for us to get off here too. I'm
Is
ready
it?
to just lay down and relax. It's been a long day.
It's been
I
a
hope.
long week. We came home and I didn't get to sleep in at all while we were gone because y'all like to get up at the ass crack of dawn.
Yeah.
I got up earlier on vacation than I do normally when I have to go to work every day. That's some bullshit right there.
I hope everybody has a great weekend and y'all do not flood or have your house washed away by water because that sucks. And everybody else that did get wet, I hope everything makes it through it okay. And we will catch you guys next week, same bat time, same bat channel. Y'all have a good one. Peace out, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.